Yo, what is good, Sixer Nation? Welcome on in to our first edition of the Summer League. Recap: the Sixers fall to the Grizzlies at the end of the game, but I saw all that I needed to see. It is Turk time, baby. Turk time. Jaden Springer, Ricky Council IV. The Sixers are in turmoil right now, but there's no reason we can't have some fun watching the young cats, man. Welcome in to Philly Take with RB. Hit the like button out there if you're excited watching some of these young cats play. Hit the subscribe button, man. Welcome on in to the show. Had to get on here ASAP and talk about what we just witnessed in the Sixers Summer League debut. Welcome on into the show, everybody. Once again, Philly Take with RB. Hit the like button out there. Subscribe. This is not going to be a long show, but I just wanted to talk about the Summer League and what we just witnessed because the Sixers made their debut for the California Classic. They were going up against the Grizzlies. And honestly, it was a tight, contested game like it usually is in the Sixers Summer League. But a couple guys really stood out. And I'm telling you right now, if these guys are going back to the locker room, obviously Nick Nurse was coaching the team. First off, shout out to Nick Nurse, for even doing this, right? Like usually you have another coach or an assistant coaching the Summer League, and Nick Nurse decides to come out. He says, I'll go coach those boys myself, make a good first impression. And he comes out and he's coaching the squad. And man, it was just really cool to see some of these guys in action. Obviously the main, pieces we're looking at are Jaden Springer, who was drafted a couple seasons ago, and then Terquavion Smith, Ricky Council, Philip Petrusev. And I saw a lot of promising things from these guys. I'm here to tell you guys, though, that the guy I want to start with is Turquavion Smith, as we're watching right here, Sixers Turk time. Maybe that's what we'll start calling it, Turk time. What did you think about Turquavion Smith? Because let me tell you something, man. I have not been this excited watching a player for one of the first couple times in action. Yes, I did not watch a lot of him at NC State. I didn't watch a lot of college. When they drafted him, I went back and watched some of the games, and that's why I made the video, saying that he could be a hidden gem. But, this guy has it. He has a little bit of it. You know what I'm talking about? It's like making me reminisce to last year watching Isaiah Joe knock down 3 after 3 in Summer League and telling you that Isaiah Joe could be a player. And the Sixers never gave him a chance. But, they got to tell Turquavion Smith right now that he made the roster. Especially right now with how thin things are looking, right? We don't know what's going to happen with the Harden trade or the Tobias trade. Turquavion Smith has everything I needed to see. I'm good watching Summer League now. I saw everything I needed to see from Turquavion Smith, Jaden Springer, and Ricky Council. Here's a play from Turquavion that's been on loop here. Look at this play, man. This is what he just did with 3 minutes to go. Now, again, the Sixers ended up losing, and I have one bone to pick. With Lewis King, man. Nick Nurse has a chance to finally draw up a play for the Sixers. Turquavion Smith has the ball. He dumps it off to Lewis King. Why didn't you give him the ball back? The Turk was hot. And I'm not talking about the Ferk Turk. I'm talking about Turquavion Smith. He was on fire. Lewis King, my man, you got to give him that rock back. You got to give him one shot to end it. So I was pissed off at that, man. But anyway, look at this heat check with 3 minutes to go. Obviously, he was making plays all game long. But, this is a shot right here, man. Smackdown. To be quite honest with you, man, what I was really impressed with about Turquavion Smith watching this game, it actually wasn't the scoring. That wasn't the primary thing I was impressed with. It was his playmaking ability. Because people keep talking about Tyrese Maxey. Can he be a playmaker? This and that. Turquavion Smith can be a playmaker. Now, again, before, people watch this on the replay and they watch it back and they say, oh, this guy's going crazy. Do I think Turquavion Smith is an NBA superstar? No. Do I think he's going to be a superstar? Only time will tell. I'm not even saying he's going to be a starter for a while, but he's 20 years old. He's very raw. He was supposed to be drafted in the second round. In fact, I saw a couple drafts that had him late in the first round. But the main concern about him was the frame, right? Was his size. You know, he's a little bit lean. He's a little bit undersized. But I always say, you know, the IQ, the talent has to be there. And then you can work on getting these guys in better shape, right? You can help them put on weight. But Terquavion Smith, he has it. Like, just watching him one game here, his vision is great. He was making plays all night long. And my favorite thing, how refreshing is it to watch a guy that is not afraid to shoot the ball from all three levels? He has confidence. He has confidence. He was willing to pull up from anywhere and shoot the ball. He has a nice looking jump shot. It's refreshing as a Sixer fan, to be quite honest with you. We don't get many of these, man. And when we do, they usually end up not playing. So at the end of the day, man, you know, I was looking at a couple players tonight, and I just saw a lot of promising things in the game of Turquavion Smith. What do you guys think about his game? What did you see tonight? Shout out to all the members in here. Once again, we're hopping on here for a quick recap of the Summer League. There's not really a lot to talk about other than a few players. Shout out to Sean Quigg, member for 25 months. Did you see Roddy flexing on a layup? Really, dude. And that's the funny thing, man. These Grizzlies guys, a lot of them are already NBA players. They're just getting time here in the Summer League. And, you know, they're on here flexing and having fun. Kenny Lofton, that dude should be an offensive lineman. That dude should be an offensive lineman. And he was out here putting the work down low. Tell you what, man, I really liked what I saw out of the Turk. Here's another play that he made at the Sixers page it posted earlier. Let's rewind this. Look at this, man. Look how he comes around the screen. He was using PNR all night long. And that was one of the big pros about him, looking at his scouting report and looking at his pre-draft film. Yes, he's got to work on just being a little bit smoother, but man, he knows how to really attack the zones and really get to his spots on the floor. And he's got great hesitation and great vision as well. You know, he doesn't rush things. It's almost like you ever hear when a guy knows how to really control the game and let it come to him. That's Turquavion Smith, and he was moving the ball all night. He was setting up plays. It was weird because usually they start off with a guy like this hand on the ball, but actually they had Jaden Springer trying to run pick and roll to begin the game. They had Jaden Springer trying to run pick and roll, and I'm like, what is going on right here? Because Jaden Springer, we'll talk about him in a second, still has not developed much of an offensive game. So it looked very wonky to begin the game, and you know, they looked out of sync. They were down, I forget how much, but they were getting smacked at the beginning. And then they came back, and ever since 17-16, the Sixers had to lead the rest of the game. Unfortunately, they lost it with a minute to go, but, you know, they started to get in command and control. The defense was great early on, and then the offense really came alive. But again, I just really like his vision on the court, using that pick and roll, just finding his boys, man. It was nice. It was nice. Here's another play from Terquavion Smith. Brings the ball up the floor. Look at that. Use the screen, goes behind the back. Can't get separation. Screw it. I'll pull it up. Bang. I like his confidence. And he's got a nice jump shot for the most part already. It's beautiful, man. And again, to a regular team, this is nothing. But to Sixer fans, it's refreshing to see a guy like this, man. It really is. It really is. Guys, if you are in here right now, hit that like button. Thank you for being in here. Let me know your thoughts on this game in the chat. The next guy I want to talk about is Jaden Springer. And his defense was, once again, immaculate. I mean, Jaden Springer has elite level defense, or at least the potential to be an elite defender. And, you know, I feel a couple different ways about this. Number one, I'm excited. I think Nick Nurse saw it right in front of him tonight. I think he saw Jaden Springer as a weapon that he can utilize on the defensive end. I mean, look at this here from the weak side. I mean, the fact that Jaden Springer can make this play is just amazing. Look at that. Get that out of here. And he made a couple of those tonight. On-ball defense is amazing. He might be the Sixers' best perimeter defender already. The defense is amazing. And I'm happy that it continues to grow. It's pretty crazy when you think about the fact that Jaden Springer is only 20 years old. He's been, this is his third year? And he's still only 20 because when the Sixers drafted him, he was the youngest guy in the draft at 18. So still a long way to go. But on the other hand, the thing I'm frustrated with about Jaden Springer is that he looks like the exact same offensive player. And it's like a continuous cycle, whether it's Ben Simmons or Matisse Thybulle, Jaden Springer. It's like, do the Sixers developmental coaches push these guys to add anything on the offensive side in the offseason? Because Jaden Springer can be an amazing defender. If he can just get an adequate jump shot, I know you've heard it a million times. If he can just get an adequate jump shot, he could be amazing. You know, he could be a real rotation player for this team. And I want to see him shoot more. I feel like I didn't see him shoot enough tonight. He took it in a couple times. He's got a little nice layup package going. He can run the floor a bit, but he's got to learn how to shoot the basketball. And it's like, come on, man. Come on, man. Corey said, we lost, but I'm fully buying stock in Terquavion Smith and Ricky Council. Off night offensively for Jaden, but I think he'll look better next game. Somebody said Rocky's new jump shot looks promising. Hopefully he can work on shooting it consistently. Yeah, man. Jaden Springer, I liked what he did defensively tonight. And speaking of Ricky Council, here was a play where Council threw it down early on. Pretty nice, to be honest. He made a couple defensive plays as well. Look at how they ran the floor. Nice pass. Bang. Throws down the hammer. He is essentially Daniel House, but much younger and a lot more potential. But we did look at his jump shot before. It is pretty ugly. He's got to improve it. Looked like he actually made a few strides since that last video that was posted. But the athleticism we already know is out of the gym for Ricky Council. And he made a couple nice plays, just really popped off the screen. Those were the three guys I was looking at. In addition to those players, obviously Filip Petrusev. I thought he had a decent night. There's just still something about Petrusev that I'm a little bit raw on. I think it's just his offensive game. He doesn't look that comfortable yet. It almost looks like Petrusev from, last year or the year before, where, he's a monster defensively. He can get down in the post. He can establish himself, but he still needs to get more comfortable. Petrusev didn't have a bad night, though. I thought he played well. 9 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. Not too bad. Not too shabby from Filip Petrusev, the draft and stash. Can he finally make the roster? That's the question. Ricky Council with 11 points, 6 rebounds. Thought he played well. But yeah, Terquavion Smith, 4 threes on the night, 18 points. I really wish he would have had an opportunity to knock down that last shot. I really wanted to see Turk get a chance to hit the game winner. And then Lewis King had 10 points. And also, who was it? Stewart. Stewart off the bench had 15. Yo, he was letting it fly in this game. Stewart was not bad at all. I mean, he looked pretty promising. We'll see what happens with him. He'll probably be a G League blue coat. But man, who knows? Some of these guys could end up making the Sixers roster and actually playing real rotation minutes, depending on what happens. Some of these guys could honestly end up making the roster and playing legit minutes based on whether, the Sixers finish or figure out the Harden situation or the Tobias situation. We'll have to see what happens, man. Sixers shot 30% tonight from deep. They did miss a lot of free throws, and definitely something that needs to be worked on. Petrusev missed a couple. I like Petrusev's form, but it's a little bit slow, and he has to really get more comfortable offensively. Just watching him down low. If he can develop that post game more, I think Petrusev can be a player off the bench, but it's going to take some time. But I'm excited to watch these guys continue to play the next couple games. I'm definitely excited to see Terquavion Smith, play that point guard role. I don't know why they didn't start out with that, but, he and Springer, they look just like Nick Nurse type of players. So for now, I mean, this is all we can get excited for, right? What's his name? Malik Beasley. He went in free agency right before the game started, just as the game tipped off. The Milwaukee Bucks get Malik Beasley. You know what they signed him for? A minimum. So the Sixers went out and they signed Patrick Beverley to a minimum. Meanwhile, the Bucks, who are also contending for a championship, go out and sign Malik Beasley for a minimum. How did they get him on a minimum? How did they get him on a minimum? It's crazy, man. And the Sixers will just continue to sit there and watch and not really do much. They got to figure this out, man. They have to figure this out. All these players are just, they're just going. They're just going to all these different teams, man. Sucks. So, you know, excuse me if I'm out here getting excited about undrafted players. Again, I said it in the video when I made the video about Turk and Ricky Council. I said, you know, we have to keep in mind these are undrafted players for a reason. And we have to really wait to see them in action. But they looked promising tonight. It's just one game. But I really, really like what Terquavion Smith showed. Not just the stats, but the eye test. Watching how he deciphered the defense. Watching the type of plays he was making and really running that pick and roll. Because it's something the Sixers will definitely need to capitalize on. Shout out to, let's see. Who we got in the chat, man? Drop a comment. Drop a comment in here. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you're feeling. Like I said, not really a long show here tonight. We also dropped a video a couple hours ago, so be sure to check that out as well. Jermaine said, Sixers traded Thibault and have nothing to show in return. Well, it is looking like that now, and the fact that the Raptors signed McDaniels on the biannual exception, I'm really confused as to why they let that happen. And I said it on Twitter. If you guys are not following me at RB Philly Take, something has to be in the works here, because why would the Sixers trade Thibault in a second? And I could pull up the quotes that I posted on my Twitter, but Daryl Morey literally said, Jalen McDaniels is a guy that we want to build around in the future, et cetera, et cetera. He can do this and he can do that. And the guy's only here for what, 5 months? Doesn't play in the second round and then leaves and barely gets anything in free agency. I don't understand why the Sixers let him go. Actually, you know what? Let me pull up the quotes, man. Let me pull up the quotes because we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this, man. I put it on Twitter a couple days ago. Here it is. Here it is. Can we see that? Let's see. This is what Daryl Morey said about Jalen McDaniels when the Sixers traded for him. Let's see. Move this a little bit. He said, quote, I think he's got starter potential. And we'd like to obviously have him have a great run. Help us win a championship this year and then re-sign him. We have his bird rights and hopefully continue here. But I do think he's someone, given his size, athleticism, he has everything we need. We can build around going forward. Okay, so why did you not re-sign him? I'm confused here. I'm confused here. I think he's what every playoff team is looking for, especially with the offensive firepower we have. It's a long, athletic defender. He's gritty, can run the floor in transition. And then offensively, I know Doc Rivers was just talking to him. The game will be a lot easier for him. A lot of his shots were very difficult playing with the Hornets, and with Joel Embiid and James Harden both bringing attention and great passing, the offensive side will be a lot easier for him. Okay, so why didn't you re-sign him then? It's not even like he got overpaid. Like George Niang, you could not bring back at that amount. Shake Milton got paid, at a discount. In fact, Shake Milton somehow got more than Russell Westbrook, but Shake Milton only got $5 million per year. It's crazy though, man. Why did you let Jalen McDaniels walk? At one point, I was literally proposing that the Sixers start McDaniels and bring Tobias off the bench. Just because McDaniels was a better fit. He's longer, more athletic, can at least rebound a little bit in terms of attacking the glass, right? He had a couple nice blocks, and then you just let him go. I just don't understand. But something has to be in the works, man. Kion says everything is riding on James Harden's decision. I agree. Morey is starting to get annoying. Beasley signed for $2 million. Hey, RB, do you think Nick Nurse will create the Turk-Ferg duo? Well, at this point, it's starting to look like it.
Let's go.
Given the fact the Sixers have nobody else on the roster, the Sixers bench might end up being Furkan Korkmaz, Terquavion Smith, Jaden Springer, Ricky Council, Mac McClung, Tony Roten, KJ McDaniels, Andrew Bynum. No, I'm just kidding, man. But yeah, they're very thin right now. They're very thin right now on the bench. Very thin right now on the bench, and they have to have something in store, man. Just because James Harden is in this type of situation, and again, I put out a video a couple hours ago explaining what I think is going to happen. Sixer fans don't like to hear it from me, but I'm telling you, I think this is going to end up being another Ben Simmons situation. Because I just don't think that they're going to be able to repair this. All reports seem to say that Harden is frustrated and he's done and he's had enough, and you know how he gets when he is disinterested. So unless something crazy happens, I see this going to, as another type of situation where, it's a standoff with the player and Daryl Morey. I think Daryl's going to stand his ground and say, all right, James, fine. I'm not trading you unless I get a star in return. But I just don't know if there's going to be a star in return or a package that's good enough for Daryl Morey. So this might be a holdout situation. And then James Harden looks at it and he's going to be 34 and he goes, well, I have to play if I want a 4-year contract after this. So it's going to get ugly, man. It's going to get ugly. But as I said on Twitter earlier today, this is nobody but the Sixers' fault because they don't develop their draft picks. It's why we're so freaking excited for a guy like Terquavion Smith. But then again, will he play? Because the last time I felt this way about a player is last year when Isaiah Joe was playing this way and they let him go. So it's like, damn, man. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen? $5 super chat from Sean Quigg, a great channel member. Sean says he was probably pissed with how Doc was using him. Sixers are going to be dealing with Doc's attitude towards young players for a long time. I hope not, man. I hope not, because, one of the blueprints, that lay out for becoming a championship team is, your homegrown talent, right? You have to have these guys, build out. And I was looking at the Sixers draft picks earlier today. In the last 7 years, 7 years, and this is multiple picks in the first round per year. Don't even worry about the second round picks. They have 2 guys, actually 1 guy in the first round that's really panned out, and that is Tyrese Maxey. That's it. Tyrese Maxey. And then in the second round, Paul Reed, that is still on the roster. Isaiah Joe's not on the roster. Charles Bassey's not on the roster. You can go down the list. Look at all the first round picks that have not worked out. I mean, I could name all of them. Simmons, Fultz, Korkmaz, Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot. They traded Mikal Bridges. I mean, it's crazy. Jaden Springer barely has gotten any time. He's trying to scratch the roster. They traded their pick last year. You have to be able to develop the guys that you draft, the young cats, or even find some of the gems. You have to find some of these hidden gems, and here is one right here. I was on Isaiah Joe before he got drafted. I had him on my second round list to get drafted before that draft. But this guy right here, I didn't know much about him until the Sixers signed him. And then I went back and watched him. But seeing him tonight, man, I know it's just G League talent. He's got to prove a lot more. He's got to get stronger, more physical. But there are certain players that you can just tell that they have that extra element. Look at that, man. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Somebody said Torrey Craig signed somewhere. Yes, Torrey Craig signed with Chicago today. Another free agent that could have been cheap off the board. At this point, man, I don't know who the bench is going to be. I think they have to figure out this Harden situation, but it's going to take time. It's going to take time. And right now, even if you don't want to hear it, it is trending more towards a 2024, get a bunch of cap space, add players around Embiid and Maxey. That's what it's looking like right now, but things can change. Anyway, it was nice to see some of these young guys in action. I wish Jaden Springer would develop a jump shot because just like Matisse Thybulle, I think he can be a 3-and-D quality role player. I think he can earn himself a lot of money. But we'll see, man. I like this play right here. Look at this. No fear. No fear. Bang. All right, let's read a few comments and then we'll get out of here. But guys, if you have not yet, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Thank you for being in here late night with us as we watched the first Summer League game. Player development has been really bad. That's been the main thing, Jermaine. It's been the main detriment to this organization. Main detriment. Morey out with Harden in the club right now. What do you guys think? Let me ask your thoughts in the chat. What do the Sixers do from here? Do they bring Harden back? Is it even possible that he comes back and plays in good faith? Or is that ship sailed? What do they do? Do they trade Harden and Tobias? Do they trade everybody? Do they try to repair this thing? Do they wait it out? What do they do? What do they do? We need answers. We need answers. I agree with the player development, man. I think guys, like if I'm the Sixers development coach, and that's why I'm happy they have a guy like Rico Hines, who's very tough and has done a lot of training camps and, the Rico Hines runs. I think they got to get Rico Hines and Jaden Springer in a gym together and shoot 300 jumpers a day until the season begins. Then he'll actually start to shoot the ball. That's my main concern. Like we saw year after year with Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle. Do they just let them develop however they want? Do they just let them go through their off-season routine and don't say anything? I mean, obviously they should realize it themselves. They should take it upon themselves. If I'm Jaden Springer and I go, well, if I just develop an offensive game, I'm going to be a damn good player. And there is a spot for me on this team. But where's the developmental coach side of it? Because right now, this offseason has been rough. So they need some of these players to really step up and be that guy. Speed Demon says the Sixers should rebuild. Trade Harden for 3-and-D players. We're going to have a 9-man roster. They have to trade Harden. He's already disgruntled. I agree with that. I don't think there's any way that he solves this or comes back. And then at that point, it's going to get real ugly. Maybe he'll show up to training camp in a fat suit and with a phone in his pocket. It's just very unfortunate, man, because if this team would have just held on in Game 6, things could have been entirely different. If they would have won Game 7 and not got demolished the way they did, things could have been different. Just the same result, man. You've lost 5 out of 6 years in the second round, and if you were a Sixers fan out there, you 100% have the right to feel the way that you feel. You have the right to be disgruntled and displeased and frustrated. Not many teams survive this long for 6 years doing the same thing. So hopefully they figure it out, man. Corey says the first round pick we traded for Melton last year was used for David Roddy, and we saw what he could do. Yeah, he was hitting some shots tonight. I don't know if he's ready to be a solid rotation player, but definitely growth from last year when I watched him. Clinton said they're going to start calling G Leaguers up. Yeah, I'm telling you. I tweeted out, I was kind of joking, but literally, they might as well tell Terquavion, Ricky Council, and Jaden that they already made the team. They might as well just tell them after the game, you're not playing any more Summer League. You already made the roster. We don't have enough players. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Thybulle actually tried to shoot threes unlike Ben Simmons. Well, true, but that was only for a short period of time, and then where did it go? Ever since that situation where Thybulle could not play in the playoffs, it's like it all dipped off, and I don't know what happened after that. Unfortunate, man. Very unfortunate. And then these guys didn't get consistent minutes because Doc Rivers wouldn't give them a quality chance. Sean says he has some serious balls being disgruntled based upon the way he played. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Game 6 and 7, a no-show. And Game 3, a no-show, which was probably worse than Game 6 and Game 7. James says, blessing in disguise that the Sixers lost versus Boston. At least we got a new head coach. Speed Demon says, Elton Brand should have gave Jimmy the max. Yep. They should have. A lot of bad decisions over time. It's tough, man. Tough. But hopefully they have a little something here in these players, man. Because that's what the Sixers are waiting on and banking on. I still don't see all of them making the roster. Maybe 2 of them. Look at his play, man. Bang. Same athleticism on the tape. And again, I really like this play from Jaden Springer. What a block. What guards are blocking this? Yeah, that's right. How tall is Jaden Springer? Like 6'3", 6'4"? I think this trio right here looked really, really good. But just one game. We'll see how it plays out. Anyway, man, we will see how it all goes. Just wanted to hop on here for a recap. Just wanted to give my quick thoughts. Once again, the Sixers go down to the Memphis Grizzlies. They lost it. Nick Nurse blew his first lead as Sixers coach. They were up 17-16. They didn't have the lead the rest of the game. Then the Grizzlies come in the last couple minutes, and they take the lead. But overall, promising showing from some of these Sixers players. Kenny Lofton with 21 points. That guy is a tank. He is a tank, man. Anyway, man, appreciate everybody tuning in. If you guys have not, hit the like button. Like I said, we dropped a video earlier. Check that out. Mods, throw it in the chat. And yeah, man, we will be back covering the rest of the Summer League. We'll be covering all the news as we go throughout this week. Everybody have a happy holiday. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Sixers. Always drama-filled in the offseason. Always drama-filled in the offseason, man. You can never get enough of it. It's like a never-ending soap opera. But we'll see what happens, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you guys have not yet, come over. Check me out on Twitter at RBPhillyTake. Join the Discord. Follow on all platforms, Instagram as well. We'll see how it plays out, man. Sixers Summer League debut 2023. It's all we have to look forward to right now. Hopefully things get better soon. Stay up on it, man. It's Turk time, baby. Call them up to the roster. Sixer Nation, appreciate you guys, man. Have a great rest of your night. Catch you on the next one. Peace.